Hey everyone. It's been a while. Hi. Badger's been gone. Last I talked to him, he's okay. He's just, he's going through a lot of Badger things. And in the meantime, I have some free time, so I'm gonna do a little something, okay? And it's nice to see everybody again. At least, once I do the stream, which I will do the stream. That being said, it feels good to be back and have some time off. Things feel much better now, even though LA is still very dangerous for no reason. But, Shoe came out with a new video, and I'm kind of happy about being able to watch some more Shoe. So that being said, from ShoeOnHead, our favorite pretty girl, come from the Crybullies. Why people hate the left. Okay, I'm very certain I'll like it. And I'm ready. Take it away, pretty girl.
Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of What the Hell is Going On with your host, Ugly Belle Delphine. Now,
oh my gosh, I love her. And so recently, I believe there was like this trendy thing about Belle Delphine. And then I found out who she was. And she was like one of the, I think like original e-girls or something like that. And of course I used like a browser AI to like find out. And then I got a lot of questionable images, from the whole thing. That being said, she is much prettier, than that Belle Delphine, girl. So I disagree with you on this one.
before you ask, yes, there is an Epstein Files video coming out. I feel like everyone has like streamer brain nowadays, and like every fucking video has to be breaking news in order to get the most views. But I am taking my time with it. I'm sure you understand there is a lot happening.
You know, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh, is Jewish. I want to be clear.
Oh no, I got to see parts of this, like clipped. And I will admit, I was enjoying the cat fight a little bit. I was enjoying it a bit. But it was very catty. I mean, even though, the Attorney General is right. It's a fun show. I'll say it that much. Even though from everything I hear, the Attorney General does not get very much of anything done. As far as I can hear and see, she doesn't seem to be doing anything really except just sitting there and looking pretty. That's what it seems like to me. I can be wrong, but it just seems like she's not very useful. Although I would say she's a bit more useful than the other woman. I would. I mean,
Do you want to go there, Attorney General? Do you want to go there? Are you serious?
Gentlemen,
Talking about anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust?
Your country, sir. Anyway, let's just forget about these satanic billionaire pedophiles running the world, and let's talk about some internet drama, shall we? Because that is what's really important. For a little over a decade now, the most inane things can get you called a racist or a Nazi on the internet, to the point where these words hold little to no meaning anymore.
oh my gosh. So recently we had someone that was hired out. And they were from Florida. And they got hired out. They were one of our nurses for a short while to make up for staff shortages. We do have staff shortages. Even though there's plenty of, like, non-DEI, employable medical workers, as we're called now. who can fill all of these shortages permanently, and they're demonstrably good. But we just refuse because this is California. We don't, we DEI everything until we die. That's how that's how we do things. But yeah, we had one of them come over, and she was shockingly, I mean, shockingly, just too far right. I mean, I would put my money on Badger because he's extreme far right, but she's like a step away from him. And I was pleasantly surprised by just how based she was. And then, one day there was a bit of a tense situation, I will say, between her and one of the more tenured nurses we have, who's been there for a long while, like many, many years. And she called the nurse from Florida a Nazi. And I was quite surprised because pretty much nobody cared. And I worked with people who were like 90%, all of them, to like 95% leftists, like left people or Democrat, and a few immigrants, and nobody really cared. And they, the nurse from Florida, she just kept on trucking. She just kept on going on, right? And she was right, of course, because the older nurse, the one who'd been there longer, she had mixed up charts for a couple of patients, and the other nurse had asked her how this happened and was trying to solve the problem. And then when it was brought to the attention of other personnel, who then went and did the whole, saying, okay, it was a really mixed up situation. It was very chaotic. At the end of the day, one of the four supers, essentially, one of them had to settle it, and at the end of it, the Florida nurse had to leave. Which was very sad, because I really enjoyed talking to her. But, this is just how it works here. I'm very much, consolidating and shortening everything, but it was actually kind of nice to see that nobody had the reaction I thought they would, or that they demonstrably have in the past. So, people being called, like, racist, bigot, homophobe, and Nazi, and, all these things, it really doesn't seem to do anything anymore, at least from what I've experienced.
So bad that when someone is called a racist or a Nazi online, I'm immediately like, oh, what funny joke did they tell? But ladies and gentlemen, we have officially come to the point where not saying anything also makes you a racist Nazi. For the few of you.
Oh yeah, and I remember Badger telling me about this a while ago, and he said that what they love to say is silence is violence. And then about maybe a month ago, yeah, just about a month ago, I almost got pulled into a very, very political conversation. And it was in the break room, and I just politely declined, and I said, no thanks, I'm mentally drained, and, I don't know much about these things, so I try not to comment on it. And then 3 of my coworkers basically were telling me in many more words that if I'm not actively involved, that means I could be a potential enemy. So me not wanting to talk about politics at work, because everybody else basically shares the same politics, makes me basically a target anyway. according to them.
Watching this channel who are employed, there's a very popular Twitch streamer named Emiru. She's a cosplayer.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, I know a little bit about her. Thanks to Badger, I know a bit. And I've watched a little bit of her, and I've seen clips of her on, like, YouTube and other places, like Instagram and all of that. And, a few times on Snapchat as well. But, on one hand, I'm like, oh, cute, adorable, like, really sweet, innocent-looking girl, just like me. But all of you know better. All of you know much better than to believe my, the sweet, innocent, face that we have 24/7. You know what's behind the mask, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm a big Badger simp. Wait, I'm pretty sure females can be simps now, right? I think so, but anyway, and I like Emiru. I like her, but it's just unfortunate that she is the type of girl she is. But it makes sense, I think, because to be like, a girl in like these spaces, or to be female online at all, it means that you are this type of girl in some way. And I don't think I'm the exception. I may be more based, but I'm just not her type of female, if you know what I mean. Because I just cannot, I just cannot be on the left side of things. I cannot do it. Because there's nothing good there. And from my experience and everything I've learned, there seems to never have been. And so it really doesn't surprise me, things are how they are with Emiru. Especially recently when I saw videos of things between her and some guy she used to date. And I very much think that it was a mutual thing between them, and that she was just doing her, Western, girl type of thing to him, to like return fire, essentially, if you know what I mean, like Badger says. And I think that's what it was. I think she's just your typical, like, American Western girl, just doing the typical American Western girl things, if you know what I mean. And I work with, women mostly, so I think I know a thing or two.
And just kind of a fun, chill, normie video game streamer. Well, the other day, someone—
Oh gosh, she's not a normie. She's most certainly not a normie. She's nowhere near a normie. Because from everything I've seen, she's like she's very much like trying to like stay publicly, like staying publicly, like kind of neutral, sort of. But from at least from what I've seen and heard about her, but she's definitely more on the left because of things I've seen her say. So she's not a normie if she's like actually very much on one side of things. Otherwise I would think that, if she were more normal, she'd be more like the majority, of like people who are more towards things just because, rather than having like an explanation or reason or repeating what they hear and, what they're told by people on like what they try to be as their side. You know what I mean? That's probably just me though. You let me know what all of you think.
In her chat asked her opinion about ice, and this is what she had to say.
Like, there's a certain extent where I'm like, okay, sure, I get people wanting big content creators to, like, say their opinions on, like, important topics. I get that, right? But it's like, if you need a streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you probably just need to get off the internet.
Now, when I've seen this, this is part of what I was talking about earlier, but I heard something a bit different. When I was, like, watching the stuff, because I went into, like, a very tiny, like, rabbit hole with it, because I was like, oh gosh, there's more to her, let's see what she's about. And then I got to that point, and I was like, because it sounds like to me she is saying that if you're too stupid or too dumb to, like, want to have a clearly defined, thoughts, opinion, or, to have a statement about something, especially if she disagrees with it, then you shouldn't be allowed to engage with it. That's what it sounded like to me. Then again, right, I'm very much biased because I'm very much towards the right side of things. Very far. We can all thank Badger being a good mentor for that. But that and Miss Kirsha. Miss Kirsha is wonderful. That also being said, that's what it felt like she said. Then again, I think that's a girl thing to, like, interpret and to, like, not take things as literal as what was said, but to kind of, like, attribute, put more into it and kind of, some people call it mind reading, but it's more like how you feel about how they said something. That's what I get. But that's how it felt when I heard her say that for the first time. I was like, why does it feel like she is shaming people for not exactly being on what she considers the right side and basically saying they're stupid and dumb if they don't just, have this for themselves, but, from her side of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm certain there's some women that will get what I mean, but it's like half the feeling of what she said, and then, the rest is, like, interpretation, essentially. Especially when I heard she did afterwards, because afterwards she then, condemned ICE and said they were evil and bad, is what I heard.
In a world where it seems like every single celebrity is just screaming their political takes completely unprompted, this was a refreshing thing to hear. Seems like a pretty sane, rational, inoffensive thing to say, right?
It does sound like it. If you're trying to be very neutral on everything, that is. I mean, that would be understandable. If you take what she said at face value, like, literally, then it shouldn't sound like, basically a neutral, milquetoast kind of take, but it's kind of different to me.
Right? Wrong. This short little clip where she ironically tried to avoid controversy ended up being one of the most controversial dramas this year. I feel like decades worth of news has happened in the past, 2 months, don't you? Every day there's, a breaking story of the most insane shit you've ever heard in your life. And everyone is expected to have a fully formed opinion on every single breaking story. There's pressure to react, to pick a side, to condemn, to defend. But the reality is, when a story first breaks, we're usually not seeing the full picture. And that's why for years now, I have been using today's sponsor, Ground News.
An ad from ShoeOnHead. I'm very sorry, Shoe. I'm very sorry, but I kind of want to skip it. I kind of do. But it's for Shoe, so I will.
So let's quickly give them a shout out.
Besides, she does very good with her ad reads. At least she makes the ads less painful.
But before we jump into today's video, shall we? Ground News is a website and an app that lets you see
Oh my gosh, I love Shue. I love Shue. I'm very much surprised that she doesn't have her own, like, cosplay channel or something like that. Or like a cosplay page or something. Because I have a feeling that she would do amazingly well.
jump into today's video, shall we? Ground News is a website and an app that lets you see how news stories
I love Shue.
are being covered all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of political bias, ownership, and headlines that helps you understand the full story and really make sure you're getting both sides. They really make it fun and easy to compare headlines to see how political bias and media ownership can affect the framing of a story.
That is so true. I remember when I was reading a story about President Trump, and of course, being the number one trusted guy in my whole life, I went to Badger about it, and he was like, "Oh, okay, all right, give me a sec," and then like an hour later, he sends me like this like link on like. He collated a whole entire message of links. And when I went through each one, right, a lot of it was him basically going all the way back to sources and like media ownership and all of that, and proving each single one of them to be an outright lie. And this was dozens of them, in the high dozens, like over 20. And he did all that in an hour. I was actually quite shocked. I was expecting, his usual, like, okay, let me take a day to go and get all this, done for you. And then he came back an hour later and just completely and totally debunked all of it. And it was one of the circulated stories about the Epstein's things, right? The Epstein files and, all of that. And he even included, like, a bunch of screenshots that showed what was being referenced, and it turns out it was just his name. And that was it. No proof, no accusations, no evidence. And then I was just, I was shocked. I knew it was bad. I knew it was very just absolutely skewed. I did not know it was outright just false on every level. I had no idea. And after that, I stopped believing anything, period, that anyone said that about Trump or anyone connected to him. And so far, I have not found anything wrong.
For example, let's take a look at this one about how RFK admits he used to snort cocaine off toilet seats. If you look it up on Ground News,
Oh gosh, so here at the hospital, he's very unpopular. Everybody hates him, except me. I like Mr. Kennedy. But everybody else here hates him. They act like, I have even heard conversations, like in the break room while I'm just eating, and reading a book or something. And I've heard conversations between other medical staff, including senior and junior members, when it came to Mr. Kennedy, basically saying that they would love to see what happened to Charlie Kirk happen to him, and that some of them would post the bail money. And I just have to sit there and I have to just eat my food and pretend like I'm not engaged or I'm just reading a book and just pretend like I didn't hear anything. It's very frustrating and consternating. And before anyone says it, the 2 times that I did send anonymous reports about these types of conversations, nothing at all happened. And in fact, for the second time I reported something, they basically tried to do like an internal investigation to see who had conducted the reports. It's very bad here.
The right-wing headline covers it like this: RFK revealed why he wasn't scared of COVID. It was a legendary answer. And a left-wing outlet covers the same story like this: Robert F. Kennedy Jr. doesn't fear germs, and his reason is really, really gross. Same story, completely different vibes.
You see, when it comes to germs, it's kind of like a double-sided, like, kind of problem. Because on one hand, if you don't have enough exposure to, like, viruses, bacteria, germs, pathogens, all of those, if you don't have enough exposure, and you're not born with any kind of chronic health conditions that lead to some kind of immunodeficiencies or, anything related to the immune system being just, being born with some way of your immune system not functioning correctly and not at full strength, then you can actually develop an incapacity to be able to have a fully functioning, strong immune system. But at the same time, in certain cases, overexposure can actually lead to you being compromised and made weak to other things. And then on top of that, you can also develop such conditions, and they can become permanent and life-altering in some cases. So when it comes to things like this, on one hand, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's healthy to work out your immune system like you're supposed to. But on the other hand, it's kind of hard to like blame people for being, for being hypochondriacs or something similar to that. It's really hard to blame them, especially with stuff that goes on nowadays with how little the medical industry can be trusted now. It's no surprise that, we get so much questions when it comes to anything we do or know, because for any reason, any one of us that works in the medical industry, there's been plenty of cases of, of medical workers purposefully making it to where people will die. It's basically murder because they found out or suspected that they had a different political ideology. So they do something very evil and heinous to them. That's very much against the Hippocratic Oath, which is not required for school anymore, by the way. And, so anyway, leading all the way back, it's really hard to blame people for being medical industry hesitant because of the fact that so much was exposed during COVID. And even in the last, few years, even more has been exposed as to the medical industry as a whole not being trustworthy.
The ground news feature I like the most is the blind spot tool. It shows you how news stories have been covered by only one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here's a story about how Hillary Clinton says migration has gone too far. Rare Hillary Clinton W.
She is very much. I know a little bit about this, from my limited time exposure to it, but it seems very much like Hillary Clinton. She's very much trying to kiss, forgive my language, but she's very much trying to kiss President Trump and the right wing's collective ass to save herself and her husband and everybody connected to them. They are trying so hard to flip it all over and then pretend like, actually, you know what, we're good people now. Please give us mercy. And me personally, people may call me evil for this. I very much want the chair for her and everyone that's like her. The more I hear about everything that they've been connected to, the more I actually do hate these people. That being said, I mean, someone saying the right thing, I think about it kind of like Badger does. Even if it is from the wrong messenger, the message is bigger than them. So I kind of take solace in that.
Suspicious. 37 sources covered it, 91% of those sources were right-wing, and only 4% were left-wing.
Oh, of course.
Interesting. Or this one about how middle-class Americans are selling plasma because of financial pressure. Americans are selling their blood because they're so poor. 71% of the sources that covered this were left.
Actually, if you can, I'm not sponsored. I'm not paid for this. You know, I don't get anything anyway. I do this, you know, partly for fun, kind of like a really fun hobby. And at the same time, you know, because I want to help Badger out if I can. But yeah, if you can, please, if you're able to, donate. Or see if you can go somewhere and donate. Because, you know, I know it's not very much in some places, and I know it's small, or it seems small, or it seems like something that's kind of like not very big. However, it seems like we may be facing a shortage. At least locally, I know we kind of are, because, you know, we have so, to put it bluntly, it's been very hard to get blood for certain types of people here. And even though I don't like LA, and it seems like a good amount of the people in LA are not very good people, or they're people that don't belong here, I still, you know, want to do my job and save people if I can. That just seems to be a part of me. And Badger says it's a weakness of mine, but he says it's natural because I'm female. So I mean, but if you can, please, if you can. Because somewhere out there, there's some little kid who's needing a blood transfusion for whatever reason. And please do. Every drop counts, and don't let those who are innocent suffer. Just because a good amount of the medical industry is very evil. Anyway, that's all I got for that. But please.
Wing, and only 14% were right-wing. I have been using Ground News for like 5 years now, and I am obsessed. It is one of the first apps I open when I wake up in the morning. It really helps me stay informed and helps me keep up with the news for my videos.
Badger is my news mostly, unless I see like YouTube videos or some such.
But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center recognized Ground News as an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview.
Well, seeing as what the Nobel people have done recently, I would have to actually question why they endorse Ground News personally. I mean, it just seems shady to me, like a red flag to me.
Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. This comes to only like $5 a month, which is like the price of a cup of coffee nowadays. To get the 40% discount, just go to
Oh no, so, okay, people might not like this, but I did go to my local Starbucks, because I kind of like the chai lattes, and it cost me $17. So now, what I did was that I got all the things I need to make basically my own chai tea lattes, but in my own apartment. It was a very extensive upfront cost, but it's been so worth it, and it saved me a lot of mornings.
To ground.news/shoe, or use the QR code on screen right here, or click the link in the video description down below to subscribe to their Vantage plan today.
Bless you.
Big thanks to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad as always. Right?
Right, Miss Shoe, right, 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 right. I bow to your magnanimousness. Oh, beautiful Miss Shoe.
And now let's get back to the video.
Honestly, she very much looks very good no matter what she does. And no, I am most certainly not, bi or swing the other direction, but I must say that Miss Shoe is very beautiful.
In this video, we are going to talk about the drama surrounding Emiru, the people trying to cancel her,
Why does Emiru have to be so cute, though?
the mistake the left is making by embracing cancel culture again. We're gonna read some insane, hilarious tweets, of course, and then we will talk about my personal experience with these people. And what do I mean by these people? I mean the cult of the Crybullies.
Yay! Yay! We're talking about them now.
I'm sorry if I sound even more like a prepubescent boy in this video. I am a little bit sick, but I am here, slaving over a hot laptop. For you. If you guys saw my last video, you know I am quite critical of ICE. I don't think we should abolish them, of course, but I think it is good and healthy to criticize your government.
No, Miss True, I disagree with you. We're supposed to have a government that is supposed to be removing all the people that are not supposed to be here that are causing a huge amount of the problems that we have right now. So therefore, I think we need more ICE. I think we need a lot more ICE. And I think that we should also denaturalize people that hate America. All of them. If you're a citizen or not, I firmly believe, personally myself, that if you hate America, and you do things against America or against the like our Constitution or anything like that, you should be forcibly removed and deported to wherever we feel like, and just left there at the mercy of whoever it is. I no longer care for this ICE is bad at all kind of thing at all. I have no tolerance for it. My tolerance is gone. I'm a broken female, but apparently in a good way.
I am a political culture war commentator. I talk about political topics often. People come to me to hear my political opinions.
Or just to look at you. Don't look at me like that. So do you.
But not everybody wants to be a political YouTuber or streamer. And not everybody wants to listen to a political YouTuber or streamer. Sometimes we just want to have fun and talk about other things. There are lots of other things to talk about. Sometimes we want to look at funny memes or watch funny videos without having politics shoved down our throat.
Oh, of course, there's a lot more things that are more fun and better than, just how the world is being run. But unfortunately, how the world is being run is 1,000 times more important than just what is fun. And unfortunately, that's just the fact of reality, it seems. However, parts of it can be fun.
So a lot of people thought it was really refreshing when a cosplay streamer was basically like, I don't want to talk about politics. Why are you coming to me for politics? It was a perfectly sane, rational opinion. So of course, like half the internet had a problem with it. It's just not that hard to say f ICE. It's really not that hard to say f ICE, to be honest. Is it so hard to just say f ICE? It's really not hard to say f ICE. Jesus Christ, how hard is it to just say f ICE?
Badger told me a story about when he was a kid. And there was like the debate about like the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. And when he graduated high school and was going to college was when they got rid of, or at least his school. If I'm remembering this one correctly, but like his school, like in California, because he went to school in California. They were having the debate about the Pledge of Allegiance being required for school. And they were saying that it was the same as forcing people to, like, do like the Reich salute or something like that. they were they were debating it or something. He said that they were comparing the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America, right, to like the required pledges or the required salutes and stuff for the Third Reich Germany under Hitler, and that they were saying that it shouldn't be allowed no matter what, and that it should not be something that is compelled or compulsory or mandatory, because they said it was basically the same as like the salute that they did, like, for the Fuhrer and stuff, and like the all of that. And so when he left school, right, and then we went to college the first time, he said that's when they got rid of the Pledge of Allegiance. And I just can't help but to think that this is very much similar, because it seems like they only want you to say what they want you to say that lines up with their ideology, and not allow you the freedom of choice of whether or not to decide to do it for yourself. Which, I mean, it does make sense from everything I've learned about leftist ideology, and how, the MZs were also leftists, just a different type of leftist, which was quite shocking because I always thought they were like right-wingers. But it turns out that was a lie that I was taught in high school. So like, that's what this seems like to me. It's like the debate over the Pledge of Allegiance. Just say the thing that it's bad, okay? Just say that it's bad. Say our party line. Say our, propaganda, and everything will be fine. But if you don't, we're gonna treat you like Charlie Kirk. May God rest his soul.
How hard is it to just say ice? How hard is it to just say ice and move on? Oh my god. Just say ice. It's not hard. Is it so hard to just say the line? Say the line. Say it. Jesus Christ,
Yeah?
at this point, even if emiru did want to abolish ice, even if she really did think ice, she shouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it at this point, because this is just this is creepy. This is like a horde of zombies chasing after you. Hey, it's actually
Well, I mean, I've never faced a mob personally, but from what Badger has told me, because he's literally, he's fought in war, and he's done, security and everything. He's been all over the world, and he's faced down mobs and been outnumbered, and he said that a mob, it is basically as if, if you took zombies and made them as active as humans, and that's basically what a mob is. And the leftist mob seems to fit that perfectly. And then when I read it more up on, the history of leftism, it made a lot of sense. It's just a fact.
super easy to stream and have opinions. I'll show you. Ice, Donald Trump and everyone in his administration, Elon Musk, free Palestine, US is on stolen land built by stolen people,
Correction. Correction for this, Damien person. Sounds like a very demonic type of person. Conquered land, as far as I'm aware, because to steal something is a bit different, because it belongs to someone else, but you took it. But basically, that's more of a legal or judicial type of thing. Like there's morality to it too. But conquered, right? It was conquered is the correct word to use, I believe. Or at least that's that's what it seems like would be more accurate, right? Stolen land implies that land belongs to anybody just inherently or intrinsically, and that just doesn't seem to be the case. Otherwise, nobody would ever lose the land they were originally on, ever. And would never have to fight for it, and never be having it taken by other people, I think. I mean, if someone can tell me in the comments, am I wrong on that? I don't think I am, but I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Ouija did nothing wrong, abortion is healthcare, leave trans people the f*** alone.
No, do not leave trans people alone. A few of them are my patients. They're not doing very well. And a couple of them are not bad people. They're actually not. They're just... I know this is not gonna be very... This won't be very popular for me to say, but they are suffering. They are having a plethora of so many different health problems that could have been avoided if someone had just at some point, with some kind of authority told them no. I even have one that's like a secret detransitioner. That's like the term that they said that they were. And this was after they found out I wasn't like everybody else at the hospital. Which was a bit of an awkward situation. But, and I'm a little torn because on one hand, it's like some of these people were innocent and they were taken advantage of and groomed by others and sold this lie that by transitioning, all their problems and all their issues and everything would go away. And that's just not true. That's a very evil lie that they fell for. And they had nobody in their lives to really truly stop them from mutilating themselves and compromising themselves medically. For a good amount of them, I see them weekly because of how many issues they have and how much needs to be managed when it comes to their care. And a couple of them are actually decent people. They just have this, well, it is mental illness technically. If we want to get down to the actual terms, it is a mental illness. However, they're not bad people. They just thought that if they just did these things, everything would be better, and it turned out the truth was the opposite. But the rest of them are a little, the rest of them are, unfortunately, very, negatively affected. And it's very hard for them to be cared for because they live in this kind of separation from reality in their own heads, even though we're trying to keep them alive and, try to help them not suffer as much as they already do, or to help lessen their suffering from what's been done to them or what they did to themselves. And they're a constant danger to themselves as well. So it's really sad. On one hand, I feel bad for pretty much all of them. But on the other hand, it's disturbing enough to give me pause on seeing them in a positive light. The couple, the two that I, am much more, I would say friendly with, I'll say that. And the detransitioner, what separates them from the rest is that they actually are decent people in very unfortunate circumstances that was partly self-imposed, and they kind of know it in a way, but on the other hand, they're still trying to cope with it by living still in the delusion that things must be better this way. Except for my detransitioner, they're very much aware, and, it's very... On one hand, I'm happy to see them as often as possible. On the other hand, it's sad to see them as often as I must.
These people literally just speak in bumper stickers, dude. Just like copy pasting the internet leftist starter pack. What the hell am I looking at?
Oh, gosh.
I hate the Reddit ass. Hey, it's super easy. It's crazy, like 1,000 years ago, this dude's ancestors were hunting mammoths. And now he's on here like, Men should not be speaking like this. I'm sorry. We need another war. The post that really seemed to kick this all off was made by...
Well, I mean... Wait, when did Shoe come out with this one? Oh, okay. Well, Shoe, you got your wish. And the real men are fighting it.
Denims, the self-described largest female political
God.
streamer. Only
Oh god, I don't like that woman. I do not like her. Whatsoever. Everything I've heard about this Denims, like streamer girl, I think she's a streamer. She's like a streamer, content creator, those kinds of things. I don't like her at all.
because I don't stream Denims. Only because I don't stream. Anyway, I don't have any...
That's so true. If she started streaming, she would become... I have no doubt she would be the largest streamer. Like the largest female streamer, the largest female political streamer in the world. I have no doubts about that.
like personal beef with Denims. This isn't like an own Denims video. We used to be kind of cool years ago, but she apparently has some opinions on emiru, so let's hear her out. Never...
Well, I mean, ShoeOnHead was a much more... Well, from everything I know about Shoe, she's still very lefty. But she's not leftist. So it makes sense she might have been friends with someone like that Denims girl. At some point when she was younger. That just makes sense. She knows better now.
I thought I'd see the day we'd be fence-sitting the modern Gestapo. First of all, she's not fence-sitting. She's just choosing not to talk about politics. Like, in order to fence-sit, you actually have to say something. She didn't even say anything. Like, how do you even know what her opinion is? Second of all, modern Gestapo? Why is everything the f***ing Holocaust? It's totally normal to criticize ICE. It's totally understandable to have issues with the things they are doing. But modern Gestapo? Don't you guys get tired of this shit?
Well, I mean, it's a cudgel, like a club. And it's the club of my might makes right, and if you don't do what I think is right, then I use my might to make you do what I think is right. That's how this works.
Like, don't you guys get tired of saying, like, isn't this exhausting after a while? Everything is Nazis, everything is the Holocaust, everyone is Hitler. It's like nothing else bad ever happened in history. Like, what did they used to compare bad things to before World War II? Oh my god, you're literally Napoleon. Also, I love this. Racist chud. Like,
Actually, from everything I've heard, Napoleon actually wasn't as bad as everybody, made him out to be.
where did the racism part, like, where did that come from? Listen, I don't get on camera and start talking about cars or math or taxes or investing or going outside or the plenty of other things I don't know about. I sit here and talk about the gender war and the culture war because I'm good at those things and that's what people watch me for. That is my lane and I stay in it.
And they also watch you to see a pretty face.
Who likes what she's doing? Her audience likes what she's...
I mean, come on, boys. If ShoeOnHead was like, that girl from the whatever podcast, what did they call her? Oh, what did they call her? It's really funny because, I think I've passed by the guy a couple of times while I've been shopping. I think I've passed by the guy, or at least he looked like him, that, runs the whatever podcast. It's very funny. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, isn't that guy? It was happened a couple of times. But yeah, no, what did they call that girl that was, it was like Gorlak the Destroyer or something like that. That really, the girl who's just insanely obese and just insanely just insane. I know those aren't that's not very wordy terms to use, but that's how it comes out to me. But that girl, if ShoeOnHead was like that girl, would any of you watch? Be honest, boys. Be honest.
Is doing. There are plenty of other channels that will regurgitate your political takes back to you. Just turn on the TV. Turn on CNN. Most people, most normal people, are sick and tired of celebrities just like spewing their political takes completely unprompted. I don't care what Glub Shido thinks of politics, okay? Why does Glub Shido have to get on stage and start talking about how we're on stolen land or some shit? Why do you need your political opinions thrown up into your mouth by a celebrity like a fucking baby bird?
Oh gosh, she got angry. Oh no. She got angry. She slammed her table. She actually committed physical violence. I've never seen Shue so mad. Well, I don't know. The Democrats losing video was her being very much the angry commie mommy, but
Like, do you really want Sydney Sweeney throwing up in your mouth?
oh gosh, I know. I actually know. There's someone at work. Alright, he's like our main IT guy. And he is obsessed with Sydney Sweeney. Obsessed with her. He even has, because he's not like your average, typical, kind of like me. He's closer to me in our workplace than he is to everyone else. Maybe it's because he's from Texas. But yeah, and, obsessed with her. Obsessed. I've gotten to see his laptop a couple of times in the break room. He's show me, cool things. And he has Sydney Sweeney, this picture, as his laptop. That's the picture that's on his laptop. That is his screen. That's the background. And I was just like, you know what? I understand. I understand. I know Badger isn't that type of guy. I asked him about Sydney Sweeney, and he was like, oh, she's like a 5, and I was fine. Badger, no. You say she's a 5? But I mean, then again, Badger's been all over the world. I haven't seen a lot of women in other countries, period. I've never been outside the US much except to visit family in Japan. And still, I was shocked. I mean, I knew Badger was made of, steel. He's a very hard man. I didn't. I did not mean. Okay, I did not mean for it to come out like that. I swear I did not mean to say it like that. But you know what I mean. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it now.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Please don't answer that.
She's right when she says most streamers are not qualified to talk about politics. Okay, here's the thing, dude. You actually don't have to be qualified to talk about politics to say ICE.
I cannot help it right here, but honestly, Denims looks like a rat. Not like an animal rat, but like a human rat. You know? She looks like she's one of those females that you would send into some I don't know, some nice place to figure out how to break, and destroy all the relationships for everybody inside that place. Or to give somebody you find out someone's secrets and then sell them to somebody evil. That's how it feels to look at Denims.
It's not that hard of a concept.
You actually don't have to know what you're talking about in order to just say the line. What? You should look into a topic, do your own research, come to your own conclusion, and form your own opinion on the topic. You should not just blindly mindlessly say the line.
You know who doesn't do political content? Cutie Cinderella. Cutie Cinderella literally never does political content.
I don't know who this Cutie Cinderella is, but I don't believe it coming out of Miss Ratface here.
And even she's capable of saying ice. What about Cinna? You don't have to be a political creator to recognize that it's not hard to say ice.
You don't have to be a political content creator to say the line. All your other friends are saying the line, emiru. Why aren't you saying the line, emiru?
Ice. Okay, but unironically though, them. Straight up. Hey, them. Yeah, it's them, don't care, and if you don't like that I say that, it's you too. You know what I mean? It's really that easy for me, I'm telling you right now.
There's emiru's roommate saying the line. Aren't we all proud of her?
Oh, nice sense. I mean, like I said earlier, she's left-leaning, but she doesn't seem like an outright leftist purely so. But it could just be performative. You know, like they all pretend to be, like, these sweet, innocent things just to get things from guys. Let's move on.
By the way, where are all her friends during all of this? Where are all her morally righteous, good guy, big streamer friends while this is all going down? While she's being dragged by half of the internet for doing absolutely nothing wrong. This girl who literally just came out of an allegedly abusive relationship. This girl who literally just got assaulted, grabbed by some freak at a convention. Now this girl is going through all of this. I guess it's fine to be silent when your friend is getting dragged by half of the internet, but don't you dare stay silent about current thing. I don't even know this woman, and I'm sticking my neck out for her because it pisses me off seeing this kind of shit happen to people who absolutely do not deserve it.
If you're above the age of 18, you should care about politics in your fucking country. You don't get to be like, well, I don't agree with this whole taxes thing, so I'm just not gonna pay for it.
She's not entirely wrong, but this seems like another case of right message, wrong messenger. Because the thing is that, like, you know, like the politics, that determines how the country is run. That determines who rules us. That determines who governs us. That determines what's going to go on with the laws and the regulation and, you know, all the things and everything like that. So it's really important. But should people be compelled to? Should they be forced to at the point of being, you know, made into another Charlie Kirk, like this girl would love? I don't know.
You can't say like, well, I'm just not going to care about all this politics stuff.
When someone doesn't have an opinion on a political topic, people like you might get a little mad. When someone doesn't pay their taxes, the government comes and arrests them. Okay, so that's the difference between those things.
There's this weird idea in America especially where like you can just be an adult and be like, oh, I don't care about politics. What?
Many people.
I honestly have never, for a very long time, wished to apply physical force to an extreme degree towards somebody, like I do this Denham's girl, Miss Ratface. Like I said, I really don't like her.
Most people do not care that much about politics. I know to you and me that's like mind-blowing, that's like unfathomable because our whole life is politics, our job is politics, like I get it. But most people's lives do not revolve around politics. They do other things other than fight with strangers online.
I don't know. I mean, everybody that I work with, with like a couple exceptions, including, you know, Miss Texas, Miss Florida nurse, you know, and I kind of miss her, actually. It was nice getting to talk to someone about, like, things and it not being, you know, an eggshell, you know, walking fast or walking over coals, essentially. or in their cases, a minefield of leftism and nothing but. But this is very much so for a greater number of people than, I would have previously thought, especially here. And see, here in LA, it's very hard to, find anyone or to talk to anyone or to see anyone that is not very deeply just like a leftist, liberal, Democrat, socialist, communist. Like, my hospital is chock full of nothing but left people. And there's like me and maybe the IT guy that are not just like, left type people. And they are very political all the time. Like, half of the conversations at work vary between, like, extremely, like, top-level politics, and then, like, the other half is just general politics, but how the left is always good and right. And that's basically it. It's very few other things being talked about, except for, like, work-related stuff to a certain degree. When it's, like, specific and it's in the moment, we're doing the job. But, like, even then, it can still turn, just straight left all the way. And it's kind of like, the feeling for me is like being surrounded by, like, wild animals. Yeah, at any point, I mean, they're docile for now towards me because they need me for things. And, like, my job is very important at work. And, like, I coordinate and I help and I do a lot of things all the time. And I'm very good at my job. But at any moment, any one of these wild animals I'm surrounded with could, at the slightest misstep on my part, simply decide that, my whole entire existence deserves to be destroyed. I'm toughing it out and sticking it out for now until I can move somewhere better. I'm just saving up for that.
Crazy, I know, but man, do I envy them. I was so much happier before I knew. Sadly, it is getting harder and harder for the average person to not care about politics because politics is seeping into literally everything. Politics will be bending you over and spreading your cheeks and going in dry whether you want it or not. And
oh no, if it can be helped, don't go in dry. If it can be helped, don't go in dry. Because if you try to go in dry, you're not going to get that deep. So therefore, it is incumbent upon you to at least use something to make it a bit easier to insert things. Especially such things as, like, catheters and quartet. Well, okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna leave that. I think I'm gonna leave that alone. Actually, let's just move on.
unfortunately, the people who are like, I just want to be left alone, are the people who are the most fucked by politics. Also, more importantly, emiru wasn't saying that she doesn't care about politics. She was saying she didn't want to talk about politics. I feel like that is a huge difference. I care a lot about, like, skincare, but I don't get on here and talk about, like, peptides and collagen to my audience because they don't give a shit. They're here to watch me say feminism is doo-doo and make silly little faces at the camera. Yeah, you like that I hate when
She really is just. I love Shue. She really is, like, the cutest, most adorablest,
Grown women don't have a mind of their own. You are 28 years old, please develop a mind of your own. All she does is pander to anime gooner men. No mind of her own. I never liked emiru, so finding out she's stupid and doesn't have a mind of her own is nice.
The audacity! If she didn't have a mind of her own, she would have mindlessly parroted the shit you want her to say.
But to them, that's not having a mind of your own. It's gaslighting. If you don't say the right thing, which is what we want you to say, That means that you are brainwashed by the other side and you're owned by them. There is no in between. This is basically like how it works at work. So I have to try and, just not be drawn in to like all of these different like, word traps that they have all the time.
She would have mindlessly just been like, fuck Ice. If Emiru came out and was like, actually, I think Ice is doing a fine job, do you think they'd be like, ah, yes, she has a mind of her own? No, absolutely not. They are not angry that she doesn't have an opinion. They are angry that she doesn't have their opinion.
100% accurate, my dear Shoe.
The absolute audacity to say that this woman doesn't have a mind of her own while thousands of you people swarm her like drones, barking orders at her to say the line. You guys literally operate like the fucking Borg.
So what I'm gathering is that Emiru is a grown woman who acts like a frail, silly little girl to entertain fat, dirty, incel, Asian fetisher weirdos and is okay with that but draws the line at saying Ice is bad. Emiru and Asmon's audience are the same. Incels love Emiru because she confirms the image of the anime bimbo stereotype that incels worship. She
Funny thing about the whole incel thing is that RIT guy is technically, like, how they would use the term, like, involuntary celibate. He's technically celibate. Like, he is single by choice. But it's not involuntary because he is not allowed. He's not a bad-looking guy, and what's funnier still is that he's 6'2", and he's built just like Badger. Like, as if he would be like, like Lumberjack. But he's an IT guy. He's not celibate because he couldn't find anyone. I'm sure he could easily. But they would call him an incel just because he refuses to date anyone that's like these women. It's funny how that works.
definitely cultivated an audience who, in the end of all things, are reactionary. She appeals to violent racists who fetishize Asian women.
What the f is this Asian fetish thing? Are they just saying this because she's f***ing Asian? Like, I'm trying to find a clip of Emiru saying sucky sucky $5 or something, but it doesn't exist. I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's not a coincidence that she answered the question this way, and that her fan base consists heavily on Asian fetishes.
I don't know where this is coming from. And the woman saying this is literally an OnlyFans, like an Asian OnlyFans model.
As someone who has Asian in her, we do not claim her. She is straight garbage.
Like, I'm sorry, are you really the person to be talking about fetishization here? The most insane part of all of this had to be when her ex-boyfriend, her allegedly abusive ex-boyfriend, posted his own f*** ice in the middle of his ex-girlfriend being canceled for not saying that.
Oh yeah, that was the guy that was like supposedly abusing her, and then it turns out they were abusing each other, and they were mutually just really garbage people. And so, like, Emiru was, like, you know, exposed as, like, a typical, like, American, like, woman, Western woman, like, you know, type. Which, I mean, she is a female on the internet. I'm not too far removed from this personally, right? I mean, the fact is that I am also not a V-Con holder and some pure chaste maiden either. However, I like to think I am leagues and leagues, beyond these women. Because, you know, being a hoe or an OnlyFans, you know, or a typical, you know, American female, that's not my entire personality. I like to think of it, but quite often I think very badly of myself, but I'm trying to do better. And Badger tries to help.
at. Like, how fucking petty do you have to be to subtweet your ex like that? Another character involved in all this is former booby streamer Caseytron.
It reminds me of whenever Amaranth started wearing a cowboy hat, because that's whenever she started going like full Nazi, basically.
I'm not going to move myself because I do not want to scar all the poor boys that are going to watch this with the image of the female that's behind me right now. I'm not going to do it, but look at your own risk.
She started wearing the cowboy hat. It's like whenever these Texas girls in like these Austin, Texas streamer circles start wearing cowboy hats, that's whenever you gotta watch out.
A woman in Texas wearing a cowboy hat? Lord, take me out. Take me out back behind the shed. Put me out of my misery if I ever become this politically brain rotted.
Oh, dearest Shoe, I don't think that is something that you are capable of. I think you are much too rational and sane compared to the norm. That being said, during this last year's Halloween, I just dressed up as like it might be a little cliche, but I wore a kimono to work as my because it was the one that was like, kept by my grandmother, and then she like, cause my grandmother was good with like clothing and like garments and things, and I'm a horrible seamstress, and she took the time to quite literally, like a lot of time, she took like, a few days to do this, but when she was alive, she fitted the kimono to me. Right, because I'm a little petite, and I'm a bit on the shorter side. So I think it would be closer to emiru size than anyone else. But that being said, I'm a little busty. So, I'm a little shy of, I'm a bit shy of hypermemory, if anyone knows what that is. But yeah, and, she fitted it for me, and it fits me perfectly. And so I wore that to work, and I said, I'm just dressing up as if I were, like, basically part of what I am. I really had no idea what to wear for Halloween, so I just did that. But what I did was that I had my lab coat and, my smock and everything, ready at work to change and everything. Because I only participated in the Halloween stuff for like an hour. But what's funny is that like a quarter of the staff on floor 2 were dressed up as like hot cowgirls. None of them have ever done anything having to do with cows. They've never been to Texas, and it was just them dressing up, that was it. So honestly, the whole dressing up just because you live in Texas thing doesn't mean anything to me.
Holy shit.
Like, that she probably has like weird incels donating her hundreds of dollars. It's because, like, in my opinion, like, it's all a facade to appeal to the worst type of men. Because, like, really misogynistic, shitty incel-like men, they like a woman that doesn't have any opinions. I think that she also plays into how a lot of incels will fetishize Asian women. Her whole platform is just like appealing to like the worst fucking men. She's like basically like she's like a pick-me for like incel freaks.
So this fucking pick.
Women like her very much drive me insane. I hate them so much.
Me shit, dude. It's gonna be the death of me. Before making this video, I watched a bunch of emiru stuff, and I saw no signs of like pick-me behavior at all. At least with some streamers or some YouTubers. People could be like,
I mean, I already addressed this earlier, so I mean, engage at your own risk.
oh, they criticize women, so they're trying to be like one of the good ones, and they're a pick-me. Like, okay, sure, like, that's retarded. We all know that's retarded. But at least I can, like, kind of see how is emiru a pick-me? She doesn't even do that shit. Like, where is the pick-me thing coming from? No, really, though, what makes her a pick-me and not the booby streamer or OnlyFans models calling her a pick-me? You are literally selling your body for men to consume. If men do not pick pictures of your ass, you can't pay rent. There's
100% accurate. But all it is just gaslighting, misdirection, deflection, and all these things, right? It's the same thing to where like women and girls, right? I say girls too, okay? They are not exempt from this. They're not the nice little, pure, chaste little angels they pretend to be. I see thousands of them in a month. And pretty much all of them are wanting to come to the hospital for basically one thing. And it very much greatly upsets me that it's what happens here. But it is my job, it is my work. And if I voice my opposition to abortions, I could very easily lose my job just because of that, and maybe even worse. So that said, I have had girls as young as 12 come into here. And then I find out later they were here to get an abortion. And I have to say prayers privately in the bathroom or something to just try and not just have a very catastrophic meltdown about it, because I feel so strongly about this. That being said, it's the same thing that drives all these women and girls to pretend like they're these little angels. They want to maintain the facade, right? That they're all good and everything, and they're not these. That they're not very dirty, filthy in every way. And I'm sure there's some guys who will attest to this as well. You're not crazy. You're not alone. And there is a very small percentage of us women here that live in America and in the Western world that do know of this, do acknowledge it, and do call it out if we can.
There's no bigger pick-me on earth than a fucking porn star. And me. I don't care about being called a pick-me. I've been doing this for over a decade now. I'm used to it. I've been called it thousands of times. I am a 35-year-old married mother. I do not give a shit. I do care, however, when other women are
And she is a very wonderful mother, it sounds like.
Called pick-me for the crime of not following a hive mind. I see it so often in like the VTuber community. Like all these VTuber anime women will be called pick-me's for just saying their opinions. You have to understand, like, to these people, whenever a woman has like an opinion that is not like the corporate HR approved opinion of the week, whenever a woman doesn't toe the line of the current thing, in this case, whenever a woman doesn't say anything, she's called a pick-me. You know, she just must have these opinions for men. No other reason. I
have had this called to me a couple of times. So all I did was say that I could not find any man that, met my standards. Especially since, they're not Badger. So, since they're not Badger, I don't think any of them can meet my standards, honestly. But that being said, I did have a short time where I had the reputation of being a pick-me at work. So all I did was just say to them, well, I haven't met a man yet that met my standards. And since my standard is Badger, I mean, that's just going to remain true, but they didn't have to know that.
Woman is secretly a big progressive feminist, and if they're not, they're just doing it for male attention. Because I'm sure someone who looks like this is really starving for male attention.
And then in my opinion, it's like she's not entertaining whatsoever. She's like, I would literally rather watch paint dry.
So true, because you know what is far more entertaining than a cute, high-energy cosplay streamer reacting to memes? This is way more entertaining. And if you don't agree, you're just like an incel. Okay, bitch. Eventually, after a few days of being dogpiled by the most annoying people on Earth, Emiru came out with a statement.
Hello, it's very rare I will speak my mind, but I'd rather get my thoughts out there, so apologies if this is long. There's a clip from my stream that's been circulating a lot, so I'd like to explain it for anyone who was hurt or shocked by it. It should go without saying that no one deserves to live their life in fear of being killed or taken away from their homes or families, regardless of who is doing it, but especially not because of ICE or any other government agency. I understand the world is a very cruel and messed up place. You don't have to study politics or actively read the news to know that. I would never want to invalidate anyone who struggles with those things, and an agency causing fear and suffering deserves zero support. To me, that's not even political, it's basic human empathy.
Now, I thought that statement was perfectly fine. My issue with it is, she didn't have to make it. She was basically forced to come out and say her opinion. So did these freaks finally back off once Emiru made her opinion about ICE clear? No. Of course not.
Nazi response. TLDR, go f yourself in your PR apology. And there it is. Of fucking course she's another dumb c***. Girl, we are not as dumb as you look.
And this is why you never say sorry or apologize to a mob. Because a mob is just a bunch of zombies.
You're still a racist chud, but continue to enjoy the money you get from your incel audience because they're disgusting, just like you. All I hear is, I support Israel and my name is Emiru. Wait, what? Where the f did Israel come from? What? I don't like to talk about politics equals I'm a Nazi and I'm ashamed of my opinions. Everyone knows what's up. She's a fascist in disguise and is squirming. Emiru, you are garbage Nazi-loving c***. You got orange around your mouth. Say F you, Asmongold. If you're neutral, if you're neutral, you might as well say you're MAGA. Stand for something, ho. That's what Trump wants.
Listen and ask Mango. I know it's meant as an insult, but it's so funny. Including the fact that these people are retarded.
For everyone to be quiet about it. The idea of get off the internet is so fucking ignorant. This dumb cunt needs to shut her fucking mouth. Thank God her downfall is happening. I've been hating on her since day one and knew something was off about her. Not a good statement. She implicitly disavowed ICE, but not so much the actual Trump admin.
Yeah, you disavowed ICE, but what about the whole Trump administration? They're like literally the mouse from If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. I was like,
As I said earlier, right, talking about denims, looking like a human rat. I mean, it seemed like all these people basically are that.
reading that book to my toddler the other day and I was like, oh my god, this is literally Twitter. You cannot give them an inch, dude.
Of course are incel fans swooping in to protect the poor little 28-year-old.
Ah yes, incels, known for defending women online. What? What the f does the word incel even mean anymore? Does it just mean man now? It just means man. Man I do not like.
I had no idea this was a thing until yesterday. How come no one told me Emiru low-key a femcel?
Femcel! Emiru's a femcel! Oh my f- Do people just not know what words mean anymore?
I mean, I know that they're using it just as an insult to attack her character. Actually, I honestly should not be shocked. It is these leftist people we're talking about. So for them, words are just a weapon. There's no like in between with them. Words mean what they want them to mean, nothing else.
How are they coming to these conclusions?
I mean, have you looked at her? I mean, look at her. Look at her. Just look at her. Look at her.
Yeah, sorry, I don't see it. I think you guys just might be mentally ill.
We need to do something about these male-centered women.
Okay, first of all, nothing is more male-centered than centering your life around hating men. Men just live rent-free in your fucking head. Take it up with God, go to therapy, do literally anything else than make it our problem.
Fuck her, and especially fuck her bestie Asmongold. I hope they get kirked. 30-year-old woman too scared to say.
Yep, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
They f Ice to keep her incel audience happy. Let's hope she gets abused again. Couldn't happen to a better person. Next time this cunt is assaulted, I'm gonna laugh and laugh. F her and f Ice and f you if you support this cunt. Emiru deserved what Miskiff did to her. F Emiru for supporting Ice.
And supposedly, we're the ones that are in an evil demonic cult. Supposedly.
I genuinely hope this bitch gets okay. I reported that one. Holy shit. What is wrong with these people?
See, you don't understand. I'm good guy, which makes it okay for me to say f***ed up things about bad guy. You think saying that to someone is f***ed up? Well, you should be abused too, because you're probably also bad guy. It's called being on the right side of history, Chud. Look it up.
Nazis deserve death, and silence is compliance.
May I just remind the audience that this is what she said.
If you need it,
You know, since the Nazis were left-wing, does that mean that should apply to all leftists? I mean, we're just using their logic here. They said it, not me.
streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you probably just need to get off the internet.
Ladies and gentlemen, a Nazi that deserves death. What?
After making her terrible statement full of lies, Emiru decided to follow right-wing grifter ShoeOnHead. Of course Emiru is now following a fellow pathetic pick-me for being quiet about Ice. They both don't want to piss off their 100% right-wing gooner fanbase.
For the record, my fan base is probably like 70% right-wing and 80% gooner. Okay, but for some reason, they didn't mind when I came out and harshly criticized Ice in my last video. Yes, some disagreed, but for the most part, they didn't care. As long as you aren't preaching from an ivory tower with no nuance, rhyme, or reason, people don't care. I'll say some shit like, we should decommodify housing, and the right-wingers in my audience are just like, okay, commie mommy. These people cannot fathom a universe where people just disagree. Oh, you're just scared. You don't want to upset your chud audience. I upset my chud audience every goddamn day. You're the ones terrified of your own fucking cult. God forbid you only agree with 99% of the hive mind approved opinions. God have mercy on your soul. I do not envy you. Once you bend the knee to these people, once you apologize or capitulate, it's over. These people don't actually want an apology. They want to humiliate you. They want to drag you down. At the end of the day, they have found a socially acceptable way to bully people. That's what this is. A lot of people in response to Emiru's statement were like, why did you apologize to the mob? You know, you bent the knee, you're a coward. And honestly, people don't realize how insane it can get. These people, the cult of the Crybully, they come in swarms, they get in your head, they prey on your empathy, they isolate you from your friends, they make you feel like a terrible person for having milquetoast normal ass opinions, or in this case, no opinion. And when you are someone who is not used to dealing with these types of people, or you are someone in like a vulnerable state of mind, it is very easy for these cult-like tactics to work. This shit works especially well with women in particular, not to be sexist, but it's just true. Honestly, you know, now that I think about it, the only people who are immune to this are like autistic people. I swear to God, people on the spectrum are immune to the crybully tactics. What happened is Emiru just saw like a shit ton of people
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I mean, she's not entirely wrong. But like, you know, maybe in a way. Because there's like a spectrum. Okay, and autism and things like that are not my area specifically of expertise. I know a thing or two about it because, well, it's just something you learn while you're in med school, and you learn about it quite a bit. You know, and kind of deal with it and how to converse with people. You know, they're this way, but this is more extreme cases than the norm. But like, maybe? I mean, it seems like all the things that are like done a bit better. Like, it seems like the best people on the internet, at least that I've seen, they seem to be autistic. Maybe. I don't know. Someone let me know. Do you think that's just how it is? Or do you think it's just happenstance that they have like this this natural inability to be affected by it in a certain way. You let me know.
Were mad at her, and she wanted to do the correct thing. Unfortunately, this is just gonna make it worse. And they're moving on to one of their favorite tactics.
The big question in everyone's mind is, well, are you still friends with Asmongold?
While it is appreciated that you are taking a stand and clarifying the clip, you do continue to be vague about how deep your associations with Asmon are. So hopefully you've cut ties with that hate-mongering Nazi troll Asmon, right? Glad you made this and owned up to it, but you're still friends with Asmongold, so it doesn't read as earnest. Almost a decent explanation, but the elephant in the room is that your friendship with Asmongold is holding this back from seeming sincere.
As far as I'm aware, actually, I mean, it does seem like, 'cause I've seen a clip of emiru with a couple of her friends, and they were saying that people like Tecton and Asmongold were just evil and bad people, and she didn't do anything to disagree or to push back or to say at least they weren't that bad or something like that. Anything to that effect. She didn't defend them at all. Whereas I saw plenty of clips of Asmongold and Tecton defending emiru when stuff happened to her. So, I don't know if you would be able to call them friends. Then again, Asmongold probably doesn't care that much. And I don't think Tecton cares that much either. Then again, there's more men, right, that are good people than women who are good people. That's just an objective fact.
Okay, now what about your best friend Asmongold? Denounce Asmon or I'm not taking this seriously. You're friends with Assmold. Assmold?
I'm pretty sure she's still friends with Asmongold.
Now, whatever you think of Asmongold, he is friends with emiru. They are friends, even though they disagree with each other. Crazy, right?
I literally said, like, I don't agree with the things he says. Like, what do y'all want me to do? Like, fucking shoot him on stream?
Yeah.
Actually, that's exactly what they want you to do. I mean, they do say that they want more Charlie Kirks to happen, and they're trying to make it happen as well. That's exactly what they want done. That's every leftist. That's all the lefties. I've never heard anyone that's on the left say that, that they don't want more Charlie Kirks. Instead, they say they want more, which makes sense if you know the history of leftism. And I don't know it fully and entirely yet, but I'm getting there. And the more I learn, the more I hate them.
Yes, that is what they want you to do. Yes. Around 2018, I was facing nearly daily harassment for being friends with someone who was on the right. Hundreds of people were on my ass like every day. They were calling my job. They got emails of my family members. It was like nonstop. Now, this person was a good friend of mine, but in order to get all these people off my back, I did probably the cringiest thing ever, and I publicly disavowed her. Publicly disavowed a friend of mine over political differences. Now, for those of you who are new here, that sounds like something I would never do, but I did it. I bent the knee to a faceless mob of people who hate me. And in return, I received nothing. The harassment didn't stop, the hate didn't stop. Well, needless to say, karma is real, and the same thing happened to me years later.
If you give these people power over your life, then you must give it to them. You must allow them to do so. You must. It's just like saying certain words. If certain words trigger you, and they make you, react impulsively like an animal, then that means that has power over your existence and can control and manipulate your actions, because you surrender self-agency when it comes to these things. So if you give these people power over your life, then that is very much your fault. That's just objectively true.
I was publicly disavowed by friends over political differences. This story ultimately does have a good ending. Me and my friend from 2018, we made up years ago, but looking back on all this in 2026 is extremely embarrassing. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have just told those people to go fuck themselves. But in the moment, it's incredibly stressful and you just kind of want it all to stop. And you will do whatever you can to make it stop. So I understand why emiru came out and made a statement. I just really hope she doesn't wind up disavowing friends over political differences like I did. It was a huge mistake and it is not worth it, because you are going to find yourself surrounded by people who see you as a temporary ally and not a real friend. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a never apologize person. You should apologize if you actually do something wrong, if you actually wronged someone, but you shouldn't apologize to like a nebulous, faceless mob of people while facing down a barrel of a gun.
This is why, objective morality and ethics are so important. Because if you allow these things to be subjective, right? Well, then that gives anyone, carte blanche power to affect you. To question you, to do such things. Whereas there is an objective morality and ethics. It is what has benefited humankind the most and led to the most human flourishing and progress. Objectively. Because allowing it to be subjective, it hands power to these types of people and these mobs to just do with as they see fit. And so, that being said, if you have an objective, moral and ethics that you follow, these people cannot affect you. Which is why it's important to be able to discern between the two.
There is nothing that she could say and no amount of money she could donate that could convince me she's not a soulless ghoul like all the men she's happily surrounded herself with for years.
There is nothing you can ever do to please these people, so why bother? They will not be happy until you kill yourself, and even then they will dance on your grave. And I know, with everything going on,
and they will celebrate if you are ended.
Right now, is this really a video about cancel culture in 2026? And it's yeah, I don't know. First of all, you should expect that. You clicked on a ShoeOnHead video. But second of all, yeah, I feel like this is kind of important to talk about. I feel like this type of thing is part of the reason we are where we are right now. This type of stuff drives people away from the left. And more importantly than that, it's just evil. I saw some leftists covering emiru being canceled, and they were like, the cultural shift is here. Woke 2.0, we don't play around, we're mean now. Woke 2.0? Because woke 1.0 worked out so well for you guys in the country, right? You're supposed to learn from your mistakes, not double down and get worse. I don't...
I'm not a mathematician. In fact, I'm not that good at math. I'm okay. But 0 times anything is still 0. Isn't it? So I don't think woke, any version or any multiplication is any less or any more woke. It's just woke. As in, it's still just garbage.
I don't know how you can look at the last 10 years and be like, we have got to get more annoying. What are you doing? Attacking normie streamers for not wanting to be involved in political discourse? Also, I feel like this goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm not smearing, the left as a whole, okay? This isn't fucking Fox News. This isn't the Nuxanor channel. I'm well aware there are plenty of left-wing people, especially...
And Mr. Nuxanor is very based. I am a big fan of his.
Especially in my audience, who feel the same way I do. I'm talking about a certain faction of the mostly online left. I was about to say it's a loud minority, but I don't even think it's a minority anymore. I think it's a majority. I feel like I'm one of the only ones holding down the fort. Me and Anna Kasparian. And every day I'm called a right-wing grift.
I know of Anna Kasparian only because there's a bunch of girls at work that watch her. I did not know she was popular like that. But there's a bunch of girls at work that, like, bring up clips of her and stuff like that all the time, along with a lot of other, like, you know, like, leftist, like, left-wing type people, because basically everybody else is left at my work. So, however, she, to me, seems to only pretend to have some kind of thoughts and beliefs that are objectively moral and ethical and are, you know, just correct and true. It seems like she's only pretending like she, you know, believes that or feels that or thinks like that. It does not come across as if she's being genuine.
For being like, hey, maybe we can focus on the issues that like actually affect the working class, you know, things that actually help people, not stupid fucking shit like going after e-girl cosplay streamers. Like, can we just get back to the fact that we are all being ruled by satanic billionaire pedophiles who may or may not be eating children, please? Thank you. In conclusion, Emiru did nothing wrong. People are tired of having politics shoved down their throat, and you don't need to speak about things you don't want to speak about.
See, I'm on the fence about the whole politics thing because on one hand, it's very important to understand, you know, because how someone is politically is going to determine how you are governed and ruled and managed and all of that. That's how it works. People like to say, oh, politics doesn't matter. That's not true at all. That's a stupid people take. That's a stupid people statement. It does very much matter. Otherwise, politics wouldn't cause us any trouble or problems, period. It wouldn't matter who we voted for if politics didn't matter, because then it would not affect us in any way, and we'd still be living the same way we did in, like, the 1950s. Culturally, societally, politically, everything would be the same and stagnant. It would not, nothing would be different or changed. So on one hand, it's a lie to say it's not important or it doesn't matter. You know, and to not pay attention is basically to surrender, you know, to whomever it is that decides to do whatever it is they want to do to you without knowing about it, right? And so, you know, it is objectively true that people should pay attention. However, I also am of the belief that certain people just should not vote, namely women. But I also believe that, you know, looking at everything recently, we should get back to having to earn the privilege to vote. It should not be just a right that's just granted just because someone exists. It seems to me, from everything I see, that that's proven to be a disastrous policy to have when it comes to voting. But let me know what all of you think about it.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to say the line, actually. This is mass psychosis, rivaling on 2020. These people are trying to socially ostracize this woman for not putting like a black square on her Instagram. They're just mad at Emiru for not doing like the ice bucket challenge or some shit. Like that's basically what is happening here. If you are going to streamers for political information, you are cooked. If you are going to ShoeOnHead for political information, you are deep fried. So that was that little video. If you like my yapping, please subscribe. And if you can, donate to my Patreon down below. It really helps the channel out and I appreciate it so much.
Shoo is just perfect in so many ways, but imperfect in others, of course.
And I will see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye!
I love Shoo's videos. She's great. You're gonna love Shoo. Okay, well, everyone, that was my video. Coming back. And I must say, well, I left the browser thingy. Oh, well, that's fine. That's okay. It's not like anybody really minds. But I must say that, like, as somebody who lives the reality of, like, you know, leftist politics every day, I'm very tired of them. Specifically. It's good to be back. That being said, what did all of you think? You let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much for watching. Even if you do, hate comment on me, I do appreciate the engagement, so thank you for that as well. But for those of you who honestly will engage with, talk about, and then, like, share, comment, and subscribe, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, we need to get back to objective reality, not subjective morality. So, that said, I love you all. Hugs and kisses to everyone. I'm gonna try to stream later if I can. I hope I have enough time after cleaning and running errands. So please look forward to that. Turn on notifications. And I will see all of you next time. Bye!